of the various books that I've read on religious life in general, or connected to religious life, the one that I found really like the most helpful is this one. It's called New Habits by Isabel Losada. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It is so good at demystifying religious life. It is basically the lady that wrote this book. She interviewed different novices, so people who were in their first few years of religious life, and she interviewed, I think these are all people who were in religious communities in England or in Britain, and each little chapter is her interviewing a different sister, and each chapter begins with a photo of the sister that she was interviewing. But she specifically interviewed sisters who were all in their like 20s or 30s, so it's talking to younger sisters as well. So but basically she just interviews them, and they're extremely open in their answers about how they're finding religious life, what their life looked like before they entered religious life, the struggles they've had and what they've had to give up, or what they've encountered in being new to religious life. It is so good because these sisters are just so open, and it's like nothing has been like censored or anything. So it's so real, or whatever the right word is. So I found it extremely useful, and I lent it to my parents, and they found it extremely useful as my parents. And for that reason, I'm thinking of actually maybe trying to buy a few copies to give to family and friends, because we're all finding it that useful to read. So it's, have I mentioned this? Yeah, so it's called New Habits by Isabel Losada. And I'll just read what's on the back, because that will give you an idea of what it's about. So the top blurb says, "Why would young women in their 20s and 30s choose to enter a convent? Are they running away from the world? Are they seeking to obey a mother superior to escape personal responsibility? How do they feel about their vows? Why would they sacrifice the opportunity to have a lover, a child, a house of their own, a job, the freedom to live according to their own desires?" And then the other bit, which explains the book, says, "Isabel Losada has talked at length to 10 novices who had homes, jobs, boyfriends, money, and freedom, who explain why they are seeking a more radical lifestyle. They reveal themselves openly and challenge all the stereotypes of the typical nun. Isabel set out with a high degree of cynicism, determined to expose their weaknesses and dubious motives. She came away with a tremendous admiration for these women who have sought a greater freedom in a God-centered life. This is a challenging book, full of humour and surprises, and an inspiration to ask what is really important in our lives." Oh yeah, that reminds me, there are some bits that are actually really funny. And I was reading it in the car on the way to Wales a few weeks ago, and I kept bursting out laughing and having to read bits of it out to my parents while we were in the car. So this book, even though all the sisters interviewed in Britain, I think mostly Anglican, if not all Anglican, I think it would help anyone that's looking at religious life, like regardless of what country you're in or what denomination you are. So I really, really, really recommend this book.